I am Harley, and I am a trans man. I want to talk about how, for a little bit, I regretted transitioning. I'm working on a painting. I only did the grayscale. I'm gonna spice it up. So right now I'm going with red on the background. I'm really hoping you can hear me. I don't want to talk louder because I'm in the dorms and that's embarrassing. I don't know. Anyways, I regretted transitioning a bit after I started HRT. For a multitude of reasons. After I started passing, I thought, wait, maybe I'm not trans. And I was scared. I think it's good to have a nuanced perspective of detransitioners and make informed decisions before you transition. So the main reason I was like freaking out is because I thought I was having dysphoria, and maybe I was. I'm not sure if I live on the like gender between spectrum. I think like the way I live my life is at least once a week I cross dress. I get in makeup and a wig and I look like a girl, and I go on TikTok and I make cute TikToks, and that makes me happy. It makes me very happy. I enjoy it. Okay. Yeah, and I was kind of forcing myself to be masculine in what felt like a performative way. It felt like almost immediately, I can't remember, I was passing. I got this voice pretty, kind of immediately, like 3 months or something, I don't know. Or at least it deepened somewhat near. I'm like 8 months, 8+ months. September. Yeah, 8 months. On T. So I'm kind of an anomaly. Most people don't get this deep of a voice. Don't be surprised if your voice doesn't deepen as much as mine. But I was just like, wow. I don't know. I was just forcing myself to be miserable, I guess. Because then I was like, okay, well, I can't be clocked. I cannot. I felt like I was living a double life. I was taking my transition a bit too seriously and kind of letting it define who I was. Instead of viewing myself as Harley, I was viewing myself as a man. I have to be a man. I have to view myself as a man. I have to act like a man. I have to walk like a man. I have to talk like a man. I have to be a man. And if anyone refers to me like I can't have too many girl friends. I can't have too many female friends. I can't blah blah blah. Like, I was definitely instilling a bit too much toxic masculinity onto myself. Like, I was just overanalyzing everything, making everything about how I was trans. Like, oh, I have guy friends. Wow, is this what I've been missing out on? Oh my gosh, everything's great. And then they would be making jokes about women that made me uncomfortable, and I'd be like, wow, this is my life now. I have to be friends with guys like this just to fit in. Wow, this is really sad. I don't like this. I don't like having these type of conversations with men. I don't like being in on the type of conversations that men have with other men about, like, having sex with women, objectifying women. I'm like, don't talk about that around me. That makes me really uncomfortable. And it's like, that makes me really angry, you know? But I was scared to talk out about it because I didn't want to be clocked. I was like, oh, but, so in my head, I was like, oh, but I don't know what a man would act like. Are cis men fine with that? Or is that normal? And so I was just like, oh no. Like, what should I do? What should I do? Every single thing I did was centered around what a man would do. So I was like, oh, so a man would do this. A man would do that. And not around what I would do. And I finally reached a breaking point where I reached out to my friend and I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna transition. I am miserable. I can't live like this anymore. I am so depressed. I miss just wearing cute outfits and not caring what people think about me. You know, like, I like fashion. I've always loved fashion. I like femininity. And like I was in that era where I was just like the baby trans era where I was just overcompensating for everything. Like, I would be like ashamed for like my room, like, you know, it's too girly, it's gonna get me clocked. Oh, everything was too girly. I was like, oh no, this is too girly. There. And like everything just kind of built up to the point where I was forcing myself to fit into the gender binary, fit into toxic masculinity, and I was just making myself miserable, basically. And so I was like, I can't do this anymore. I literally can't. And what brought me out of it again was rediscovering what I enjoyed before I transitioned. I have always loved makeup. I've always loved fashion, specifically feminine fashion. And the thing is, I don't wear, like, you know, I've realized, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna ruin, like, myself to fit into a binary defined by other people. And like, I'm allowed to go by, it just turned into me allowing myself to fit outside of the box and not having to explain to people. Like, people kind of always want an explanation for things, and you don't have to provide any explanation for anything. And that's what I realized. I'm like, oh, just because I'm a trans man does not mean I have to be more masculine. I can still be feminine. And like, I don't know. That really helped me personally. I was like, oh, I like being feminine. I enjoy being feminine. And enjoying being feminine does not make me a girl. I think it's dumb, and it's just toxic masculinity even affects trans men. Obviously, like, it almost led me to detransition because it's just depressing. It's depressing as fuck. And I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, I really don't care if I'm clocked anymore. I never tell anyone that I'm trans because why would I? I don't care if people find out. Like, I have most of my friends are girls because I just think that women are better. They have more empathy. They have, like, just toxic masculinity takes away your empathy and takes away your ability to have emotions, and it's a depressing life to live, and it takes away your ability to express your emotions without judgment. And unless you overcome your toxic masculinity, most men have that inside of them. And unless you overcome that and don't care about being called feminine, don't care about being ashamed, like being shamed by other people, don't care about how you're viewed, then you're not really a nice person to be around. I'm gonna be so real. So that's why I don't really like men, because a lot of them are really insecure. They're scared of crying, they're scared of being weak, they're scared of all of that. And I've realized I don't want to be that. I don't want to live a life of fear just to fit in with what society expects from me. And I think and that doesn't mean I have to be like, oh, that doesn't mean I have to fit into any boxes either. That doesn't make me a Twinkie gay boy. That doesn't make me like a femboy. It doesn't make me anything. It just makes me a guy, you know? And that's what I identify as. I identify as a guy. And like, I'm not afraid of expressing my femininity anymore. And I'm not afraid of being called gay or afraid of being misgendered because of the way I dress or the way I act or anything, because why would I be? Because being afraid makes me miserable. Anyways, I just did this. That's all.